if the earth was flat, then that means that the earth could be a firm and immovable plane. And that means there would be no Big Bang, no outer space, no expanding universe. And that means there would be nothing out there to visit and explore. And that means Earth could be the center of everything. And that means Earth could be an enclosed environment. And that means Earth could be a simulation being ran for you and me and every single person living here. And that means our entire existence inside this place is not an accident. That means life here on Earth is special. And that would mean that you and I are significant. And that would lead to many more questions. Like, who created this place? Who put us here? Why were we put here? What is the meaning of all of this? And I believe that all of these answers can be found in the scriptures. Because if he was not really the son of Yahweh, then he was just some lunatic, insane guy who proclaimed to be our savior. I'm sorry, but he can't have made those claims and still be a good person spreading a moral message. It's all or none here. So that's why I believe that this video may be the most important thing that I've ever done. Because if these strange truths are right, then this stuff could wake up people and help them move mountains of deception. These strange truths could reveal that we were created and that Yahweh put us here for a reason. Imagine if everyone learned that knowledge. Imagine if everyone knew that when they died, they'd have to literally meet their maker. Do you think that people would make different life choices with that knowledge? Do you think that people would treat themselves, others, and everything on earth better? So what do you do next if you're open to this being the truth? Maybe you'll watch this video again to determine what you want to research first. Maybe you'll observe the celestial bodies. Maybe you'll test for curvature across the earth. Maybe you'll record and look for clouds behind the sun. Maybe you'll open a Bible and read it for the first time, or maybe the first time in a long time. Maybe you'll call upon the name of Yahweh to be saved right now. And then maybe you'll ask him to lead you to the next step. No matter what, I challenge you to observe your surroundings. Look up, look around, challenge what you've been taught. Research what doesn't make sense, because I think you'll be surprised at what you find. But maybe you'll have a different take on what I've shared here. Maybe we could talk about those differences. Maybe we could talk about the other strange things that didn't make it into this video. Maybe we could work together and unite to change this place into something better, because maybe we're capable of doing anything that we can imagine. And maybe you'll be open to sharing the strange truth. Maybe you'll sit down with your significant other and show them this video. Or maybe you'll send this video to another friend to get their opinion so that you can talk about it with someone you trust. But whether or not you end up believing, accepting, or sharing this video, I'd like to say thank you.
This is Ronnie Harris, joined by the host with the most, Jason Laufenberg, and special guest David from the Strange Truth Project.
Hey guys,
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
It's a good day. Every day should be a good day, right?
Super good day. I haven't felt this good in a long time.
Yes, you brought us out of retirement, David. We owe you. You did. Oh, we're so blessed because of you, brother. So blessed.
We're all blessed because of each other. So just thanks for doing what you guys have been doing. I've been getting a few emails because of the email address I left at the end of the video. And I don't know, some people are saying thanks, but I'm like, thanks to everybody else. It kind of felt like this is what I told somebody yesterday in an email. was that I felt more like a content curator than like a content like creator, because I took a lot of what everybody did and just tried to put it together.
You did it. It goes down in history as yours, and it's incredible, super incredible. So thank you so much for having done what you did. That actually does bring a tear to my eye right there. That's
Yeah, it's wonderful to see that we've all worked together, you know, even people in the chat, the whole team Yahushai. It just basically it does kind of verify the scriptures that Enoch spoke of, that we would all be in agreement, right?
well, not on everything. Not on everything. We gotta keep. But I see something happening here where there's enough of us that are in agreement, that are willing to stand up for it, and it can only build from here, because like we know we're standing on truths that can't be toppled. And but I mean, we do branch off and speculate about certain things. So, you know, we always want to be double checking each other, but the fact that you went out and made the video based on research, you know, it's super validating to Ronnie and I. And we're still asking for, if there's flaws to be found in this material, you know, please bring them forward. We want to take a look at it. But I'm so excited to have you on here today, because honestly, how many times have you and I really talked via text or conversation, you know, video conversation?
Well, I'm confident that video, it's 2 to 3 max, probably 2. And then text, probably 10.
Mm-hmm. But somehow I feel like I know you, but I don't know you.
Yeah.
And so what I want to do is get to know you better and hear what brought you to making this video. It's so exciting to have you be able to explain some of that for us.
Yeah, I can go through it. My final take is still that this is a crowdsourced project. So I'm just thankful. So yeah, this is not something that I was looking to do. This is not something that I plan to get into or research at all. I stumbled across, I think it was late January. And I should say this, our creator had been telling me to stop drinking for quite some time. And it was within 30 days of stopping drinking and getting my mind kind of clear that somehow, for whatever reason, I stumbled across this question online. I saw somebody in an online forum ask somebody else if the earth was flat. And I'm a pretty curious cat. So I just went and Googled that real quick. And it was like right after I'd found out about some 9/11 stuff. So like everything like about the potential lies all around us is something that I found out in like the last 12 months, 2017. But I just went and Googled it real quick, and some NASA videos started coming up, and some water finding its level, just a few different things. And I don't know, to me, the water finding its level and also that NASA stuff is, it's just so interesting. It's so straightforward, because like Jason, you just said like a lot of us are in agreement, like we're all in agreement, but like the majority of people that I expose this to or that I've shared this with, it's pretty easy for them to get there that like NASA might have put them together and that there might be some deception there. But taking that next step to something else, to where their reality, or the most of what they perceive as reality could be a lie. Obviously that's a much larger step. Mm-hmm. So just that's my quick note on that. But going back to January, I just started researching it. So like I spent 2 months looking at this, and like I remember looking at some YouTube videos and just simple concepts and like having my hands on my head, like what? I'm like throwing my hands up, like is this legit? Like this cannot be real. So even for me, right, I was kind of not in denial, but like, is this going to check out? Like, how can this check out? So then I hadn't told anyone in my life until like late March. I was on a flight to Dubai and Nepal. We're going to have a little bit of fun in Dubai, but do some missionary work for some family that we support there, spread the word. and we're starting this 14-hour flight, and like it's the quick like I think I dropped one line in the video talking about how they had the fisheye lens, and my son who's 12 looked at the screen on the back of the headrest right ahead of him, and he's like, oh cool, you can see the curvature of the earth. And I was like, I don't know if that's what that, you know. Or my wife looks at me, and she kind of cocks her head a little bit, and she's like, she whispered to me like, do you think the earth is flat? And I said, I think it might be. And she laughed, right? But we are partners. She is my best friend in the world, and I'm so blessed to have someone just with an open mind and such a loving heart. And we kind of talked about it a little bit a few days later, like in Nepal, walking across this amazing land, just very briefly. And she just said, hey, I'm open to talking about this. And like, that was like a huge sigh of relief for me, like huge sigh. And she even said she was open to looking into stuff. So then I just continued to do a lot of research. And then like within the next 30 days, I did lunch with my mother. And she was the second person I told her over lunch. And I had this list of stuff, and I kind of went through it. And she's like, well, I know you're a detail-oriented person. And I know you kind of just don't throw stuff out there. So this is definitely something I have to look into myself to figure out like if this checks out. And she's the one that ended up saying she looked into it. She didn't find the same stuff, but she thought it was creepy. So that's when I realized I'm like, I can't just tell people this. I can't just like try and do a lunch and convey this information. And I said, plus I should probably get a little bit more dialed in with what I perceive and I believe to be truth and factual. So that's where I'm like, oh, great. I'm talking to Jason on the side. And I think that was probably April or May when we first talked. I'm like, I came across you guys through Rosette. I'm like, I can't believe this could be also a simulation and this and that. So I'm discovering all this stuff. And at one point, you guys were actually challenging a lot of people to, hey, create something, share this. And I knew, I don't know if I ever put it in the comments, but I'm like, I knew I couldn't just like go share a link like to social media. I'm like, hey, go check this out, guys. Okay, yeah, they're going to take me seriously that way, right? So I just can't drop it like that. So I'm like, great. And I'm like praying, I'm listening to our Father. And I think I hear him telling me, you better put something together yourself. Because I remember mentioning it to Jason. I'm like, we got to like take somebody from all the way over here who doesn't even question anything and hopefully try and bring them over there. And obviously I tried to do it in 2 hours and 38 minutes. It's a big project, but anyways, I started working on it, and like I was hoping to have this thing done by the eclipse. After all my research, I started doing like video and actually putting stuff together like 3 weeks before the eclipse. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll knock this thing out and get it done. And then what do you know? Like I didn't show this to anybody until like 2 weeks ago on Monday. And that was my wife who saw a first draft, a first cut. And I went through and edited more. And then I ended up just, I was leaving town and I just ended up just uploading it. I could have edited it more. I'm very much a perfectionist, and I think we get that from our Father. But I was like, you know what, this thing's done. I could probably fix it. I could do this. I've gotten a lot of suggestions about like cutting it up, making it shorter. People don't have time for it. Even like my brother was like, people don't have time for a 2 hour and 40-minute video. And I'm like thinking, people make time for what's most important to them, right? And I'm like, you want to watch the video your brother made? That's cool. That's your program. I get that. It's not for everybody. So that's the short version of like the last 12 months, pretty much.
But how many people will read a book for 3 hours? All right. I mean,
oh yeah.
You gave a documentary that takes people, you know, through flat earth, through simulation, through Christianity, under 3 hours. It's like, I mean, you know, the material, you could have made a 100-hour video and it would still barely touch a lot of the things that are to be covered and stuff. But you got, I think you did a great job. Just the whole order of it, the reasoning with people, just really, really, really well done. It's awesome.
Tried my best.
Well, yeah, that, one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, so have you had experience in video editing and anything like that?
Yeah, so I I've done some side projects outside of my career. And with that, I played with iMovie a little bit on my Mac. Nothing to this level. Like, I mean, we're talking like 5-minute videos and stuff to where typically I try and do one take so I wouldn't have to edit anything. And I just do it multiple times, which is really hard to do a 5-minute take, right? With video and audio. But no, then I ended up getting Final Cut Pro because you can't, I mean, a 3-hour video, you can't export out of iMovie. So I had some, but no, I had to learn it myself. And I'm guessing that's why you're asking it, the way you guys learned Blender and the other applications. Even with websites I've played with and done some stuff there, I had to learn like WordPress and other things. So really, if you're committed to something, right, you're going to teach yourself and figure out how to make it work.
We can really do whatever we want if we know what our goal is, and then back engineer how to get to our goal, and then just take it one step by one step with the plan that we created. It just manifests. We're seeing this happen over and over and over.
It's spot on. Like, so I wrote out the outline. I remember talking to you early on, like I wrote out the outline and it was like a bare bones outline. And then I went and just drilled down on each topic. And then like I got all the video together. And I remember when I first started it, actually putting it together. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to take forever. Like, this is a huge project. And I just kept chipping away. And it ended up getting done. I am happy it's done. Like this thing is done. I'm not sure what's next, but I'm glad the video's over, even though it's been a challenge sharing it with you.
You hit a home run, really.
What's that?
You basically hit a home run.
Have you seen the reaction it's gotten with Macau Flat Earth Photography having published it?
I saw some view counts. He had actually messaged me, I think the day after he posted it. He said some new trolls were out. He said that it was getting some decent view count. And like even on my channel that I started like a week ago, I went obviously and reposted that this was going down today at this time. I reposted that video you guys created, and I saw like, I don't know, like 40 subscribers almost or something. I don't even know who all these people are. I know it's not my family and friends. At least I don't think the majority of them are, right? And then like views, and I'm like, who are these people? I was telling my wife this morning, I'm like, I don't know who these people are. Like, people got to be sharing it or doing something. Or these people are, I don't know, they're spending 9 hours. It's like 10 views for every person. It was just interesting.
People loved it, man. You should have a look at some of these comments over on Dave and Sleep by Media shared it as well. And so did Flat Earth Photography. People are absolutely astonished. They love this. This video is getting an amazing response, brother.
Yeah, I didn't know. Amazing. I haven't looked. Yeah, thanks to Dave too. I want to thank Dave.
Yeah, shout out to
for emailing. Yeah, big shout out to everybody for just sharing it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Dave and Flat Earth Photography. We will as well. We want everybody to share it. It looks like a lot of people here are.
Totally.
Jason?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of response. I'm going to repost it on Awake Souls. That might be basically the last video that I put on Awake Souls, other than one that tells people what my new channel is. Ronnie and I, we have our channels picked out. We've got some work done in them. But we're I don't know.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is cool. I'm looking at some of these. Sorry to interrupt, Jason.
Oh yeah, no, the comments are unbelievable.
Yeah, what a blessing. I've gotten some, so obviously I put that email at the end. I've gotten some emails. I've got a lot of, we'll have to get into my friends and family. That was what I wanted to ask next. But like 2 nights ago, I told my wife, I'm like, you know what, if this helps one person like come to our creator, and I meant that in the video, right? One person come to our creator and go and come to call upon the name of our Savior. I'm like, that's going to be a huge blessing. Like that's a win for me, you know? And the next morning I woke up to this email from this guy who said he'd been researching flat Earth and all this stuff for like the last 10 years. Really good guy, really nice guy. At least it seems that way from the email. And he had told his girlfriend recently, hey, you know what? The only way I can see this working is if we're in a simulation, because he had actually done his own research too. Like, obviously the sunsets and sunrises, like they weren't checking out. And obviously he must not have known about you guys. And then he watched that video, but he had just shared that he had ended it. When he ended it, he was in a pretty unique emotional state. And it definitely resonated and connected with him. And like, he's asking questions again, like about a creator and other stuff. And he gave me a couple ideas to look into some stuff. I was going to talk to you guys about ancient Sumeria. I've gotten a couple emails from people on that.
Yeah.
One email I haven't even replied to that right before we started chatting. But my point is that that is a blessing. Like, because this is not, I think I said it at the beginning of the video when it starts playing, like, this is not like fun to have yourself to be criticized and like people telling you all these crazy things. But I think there's a lot of people that want to try and share this message. And I'm hoping that this is the right format to where you can send it to somebody. And it's not like, hey, the earth is flat with a big finger pointed at them. Maybe just kind of take them through a logical progression of what the truth could be.
Yeah. Well, I see that's something I understand with you having a family and, professional life in this world. What you've done with this documentary, you have put the target on your back. And, I see like, your comments, the comment section, I understand why you would have the comments off on it, because that would be the place that everybody would want to attack you at. For myself, I've been doing this battle for a couple of years now. And, when people come into my comment section, I know how to spot the people that are, genuine, asking real questions, that want to share real research, and who the shills and trolls are. I can just spot it in an instant. And I'm totally devoid of any personal attachment. I just feel like, okay, that's their job, and just hit delete. And it really doesn't affect me emotionally. And I'm in a situation where I'm single, my own place, and really not concerned what the rest of the world has to think of me. But I understand that you're in a situation where you got to consider all those things. And to you, all I can say is you're an amazing guy to have that kind of love for the truth, to do it. And I think what you've done right here is probably just cracked the seal on this world as an example that, the person that's got the okay or good life in this world right here is willing to do this for the truth. And it's the rarest of things to find in this world, to have somebody that level of commitment. And wow, it's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, what I say to that is I listened to you guys for a while, and I think that there's a lot of people out there like me. I pray there are. And like in my brain, I'm thinking like, oh, they're just waiting to be activated. Like, okay, I was activated. And that people are hopefully going to be more open to coming forward. We need a piece. We need something to actually share to where it's not, I don't know, it's not talking down to someone. It's just an open conversation, because I'm willing to have that. There's no doubt I really believe this a lot, but I left those comments off because I was not ready for that. I've dealt with comments before in different formats of stuff that I put out there, and gotten a lot of criticism with stuff that I've written before, because I like to do a lot of writing. And that's one form I just was not ready for. I'm not saying I wouldn't be. And I know you're not saying, hey, you should or shouldn't.
No, not at all.
But I'll tell you, after some of the conversations I've had with my family, and ones that haven't happened and very well may happen soon, and then even ones I've had with some friends, someone I don't know behind some computer keyboard that is not even willing to show their face, really, it doesn't mean a lot to me anymore. Because yesterday morning was probably one of the hardest situations I think I'll have to face. as far as emotionally with the people that I love and trust, as far as kind of their perception of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go through that. I'm down to share certain stuff. Obviously I wouldn't say any names, but I'm down to share whatever. I mean, so just ask.
Share what, I mean, you're obviously an extremely smart guy. Share what you think is in your opinion, I mean, what you're comfortable with and what would be of most benefit to other people in your same situation.
Yeah. So obviously I spent a year of my life trying to, like, with most of my free time outside of family and work and stuff. And like most people, it's pretty limited free time, but I cut out alcohol and TV and most movies and stuff. And I really enjoy movies. So I created this thing, and when I started sending it to people, I just put a personal message with the link to that video on YouTube, and mostly everyone's watched it. Like I mentioned earlier, most everyone is definitely thinking that NASA is suspect, but the next step is much harder to get to. But a lot of people, I'd say 30 to 40, maybe even 50% of my friends, not family, said, hey, you gave me something to think about for sure. But after showing, I've also showed my son, and he was the second person I showed it to. And that was a very unique experience because I told him, like, bud, you got to understand, like, I trust you. If you ever question if I trust you, like, I just pray you don't. I'm going to show you something that could have people looking at me differently, this and that. And I told him before we watched it too, I'm like, I want you to watch this. Obviously, I understand that I believe this is truth, but like, I really think you need to look at this yourself and come to your own conclusions and really look around and this and that. He's like, Dad, he's like, I believe everything that you tell me. I trust everything you tell me. And first of all, it's like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of responsibility, right? And what a special thing to have. Like, isn't that the way it's supposed to be? Like, we trust each other much and love each other so much that we believe each other. We don't have, there's some merit in like double checking and just like being confident this would checking it out with our Father, right? So that was a really unique thing. So anyways, I showed it to him. Then I traveled back east for work. But then before that, I visited a buddy and showed it to him, a really good friend, him and his wife. And they were both really open to it. Like, hey, there's a lot of interesting theories that I've got to consider. Again, both of them thought NASA, yeah, totally never. I'm surprised how many people were already questioning, like, I don't even think we went to the moon. And then I just sent personal emails to pretty much everyone I know that I still keep in contact with, and just kind of told them, hey, I've been doing this thing for the past year. I really want to share it. It's strange. I'm getting some really interesting feedback already, but I'm still compelled to share it.
Yeah.
And anywhere from like attorneys to like insurance folk, most of my friends are of Christian faith, but I have obviously several that are not. So I haven't heard from them as much, but a lot of the other ones, it's interesting. Like one attorney buddy, he could totally see some possibilities. He did like point out how, I guess, and I'm not going to go back and fix it, but I said command module when I guess it was a lunar excursion module. So a little minor verbiage and some NASA stuff, but he's an attorney, so he's got to point out that kind of stuff. Right. But he was still like, we were kind of talking about like, well, let me actually put these two together. Then another buddy was like, it's kind of like borderline blasphemy to say that we're in a simulation. And the interesting thing is these two different conversations I have with two different guys, both of Christian faith, and one's like, I could totally see, like, if it's a simulation, like whether it's like an expanding universe or a flat enclosed plane, isn't it all like still kind of pretty much enclosed? It's still kind of some form of simulation, like period. And then the other buddy's saying it's like borderline blasphemy to say that it's a simulation. So responses are all over the board, but most people do not like that word, simulation.
Yeah.
I would love it a better one. You guys have said that before. But whether you believe any of this or not, like I still, like, you could totally say where we live. If you believe that our creator is here and like that they created all this and like we're here for a reason, like, and he's doing all this stuff, like it's still, I don't know, like it is a simulation no matter what, is what I've realized, regardless of what it looks like.
I mean, what do people want to call call a construct that everything's rendered to your point of view, and that you can actually see, when the sun comes up, it comes out of the ground just out at your horizon, and it goes through the clouds that are directly above it. What do you want to call that? I don't know if it's running on, what it's running on, but it's obviously not the physical world that we've been taught by science.
Well, and for me, it kind of leads to the fact that Yahushua came here and told the apostles, "Hey, guess what, guys? This isn't the real thing. This is just a learning ground, a test, a game room. Like you're all gonna make it. Just believe in me. Listen to what I said, and follow these commandments. You're gonna get translated to this new creation, a real one without pain. And now we're gonna have more feeling, more love, no hunger, no pain." It's like, it makes total sense that we're in a construct that's not real. Like we're not to love anything of this earth, and it makes total sense.
That not real is a tricky, that's another thing that, just like the word simulation, I mean, people a lot of times say simulation means not real. And then they say, we're experiencing this and we're not denying that we're not.
Yeah. This is I totally think about that all the time. This is some level of consciousness. Like there will be, you guys have said it, and I like the line, it's like the leveling up. Like I think it's got to happen. I mean, we're all going to find out when we die, right? I think that would really suck if we're here and there's nothing after, right? And I've been thinking about it a lot, because a lot of people keep, I don't know, they're saying a lot of stuff. We can go through that. But I'm glad I believe this, because, I mean, if I'm wrong, which I totally don't think I am, but if I was wrong, like, I really had nothing to lose. But like, if I'm right, a lot of other people, and I know I've heard other people say this, a lot of other people, they got a lot to lose. Like if they, it's not like, let me just roll the dice and just kind of flip the coin, or just like, just believe this just because I don't want to take that chance.
But it's because they've been pursuing a material life, a material world. Because they've been pursuing that, they've been storing up those riches in this world. And, the scriptures tell us how hard it is for the person that's storing up riches in this world to make it into the kingdom. And so for me, it's like there's this physical way of seeing the storing up the riches, the material wealth in this world. And then, like, on a higher level, the belief in the physicality of this world is what drives all that. That makes you believe that you have to have these things in order to survive in this world. And so that empowers the material world. And the scriptures talk about how those that reject materiality, that they are the ones that are set free and liberated. It's talked about in the scriptures in so many different ways.
Well, my mind has been in like constant spin mode, because I just keep thinking, like, why is this so simple in my head? And then obviously other people are thinking, like, why is this so simple in my head, the ball earth and all that? And it's so hard for David to understand this, because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Because I had one buddy, got the PhD, he's a smart guy, he knows how to build stuff, like works on reusable energy and stuff. But he had sent me an email. He's like, I got halfway through and I just stopped it. And he said, to like confirm the curvature, like all you need to do, this is like basic freshman level physics class stuff. And so I replied to him. I'm like, I get that. I actually saw him at a party last night. Saw several people that I'd sent it to last night. And I'm like, I get that. This isn't for everybody. But I would like to talk, maybe we can talk about some other stuff, like the water always finding its level, and not being able, like, I've never seen curvature, and just gave him a couple other examples. And he's like, well, why don't you send me like a scene list? You probably got that. And I'm like, my list is pretty much in the video. I mean, if you don't want to watch it, I get it. But like after that, I was kind of thinking, and he wasn't really, he didn't want to talk at the party because it wasn't the best situation. He's probably right after looking at it last night.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm thinking, and he's a man of faith. Like I'm a Christian, right? But I'm thinking like, I just don't think that our Creator would like require a prerequisite like freshman level physics class for us to understand how this place works or how it looks. I think he kind of tell us what it is in the scriptures, and I think he has. And I think that Enoch, if you look into it, it's pretty straightforward as far as seeing how Jude and Peter had relied on it, and they considered it inspired. And I had another buddy that told me, like, you know, you mentioned Enoch, that's non-canonical and all this stuff, and we haven't had a chance to talk it through, and it's hard to do that in an email. So I was like, hey, let's just connect. But it's been a unique experience.
Not even that. Oh, yeah, but even Yahushai was quoting Enoch as well.
Right. Oh yeah, totally. Yes. Spot on. I mean, right. Right.
It was the scripture to quote.
Yeah. So let's go through a few more people. Sent it to one buddy like on a Monday. I was back east, and then like I was connecting in Denver on Tuesday night. It was like 11 o'clock, and I just run into him. I'm like, okay, let's do. I was so tired. I'm like, okay, we'll talk about this for a few minutes. Then we boarded. Saw him at the party last night too. There have been people like their wives and friends like texting my wife like, hey, just checking in. Everything okay? And yeah, there's no. And she's not there yet, by the way. Like she doesn't believe this stuff all in. I think she's still open to it. She's kind of figuring it out. She looks around, like she's been on flights, and like she'll tell me like, you know, I look around, I don't see any like curvature. And some things kind of seem more straightforward to her too, like and to most people, including myself, like the water finance level, like it's just I can't wrap my head around it. Like how does that not? I know how it'd work with gravity, I guess. I don't know. So then,
but
were you gonna say something, Ronnie? I thought you were gonna say something
from your video.
Yeah.
The point that you made, I thought it was fantastic, where you're showing Earth, like if you're looking at it from space. I mean, if the Hubble could turn around and look back at Earth and zoom in, you should be able to look at the bottom half of Earth and see waterfalls the water is going up if you're looking at the edge, right? And it's absurd.
There's nothing out there. I mean, there's nothing out there. Like I was watching a SpaceX, because I still find it extremely entertaining. And I'll get into talking to my mother yesterday, but she had mentioned, hey, did you see that Trump had said they're going to go back to the moon? And I said, yeah, I saw that. I can't wait to see the video. Like, I really can't see what they got when they're back on the moon and all the tests. I hope they come back with some great like telemetry data that they can share with everyone. But I don't know. Some of these things just seem so obvious. So that's kind of my hardest thing right now is it's not the feedback as much, but just this drastic difference in how open I was to exploring it and processing it and then believing it, and then just how close some people are to it. I know I said it in the video, like I know that it's going to close people off, but just some of the people, it's been surprising. And I'll share it. My mother yesterday, went over there just to help out with something, and towards the end, is getting ready to get out the door to go connect with the family again, and she just kind of shared where she was at with their with the video, and like that she didn't believe it. She kind of looked into some stuff, and she was worried about me though. Like her reaction was that she was worried about me. And there is some mental illness in the family. And she had shared that close family member was really intelligent, all this kind of stuff, but they had some mental challenges, and it was kind of the end of them in a way. And she had shared, she'd never seen anything from me, any unique experiences that would kind of point toward that, but she was worried. And I'll tell you that that stung. And she knew it. She sent me a really kind text last night. There's no doubt that my mother loves me and that I love her forever. But it was unique to hear from her, because she does say that she gets gravity. A lot of these things make sense to her. Like, to me, I just keep coming back to, I just want to tell everyone, I'm like, how are we moving right now? How are we moving 700 to 1,000 miles an hour, and then 67,000 miles an hour around the sun, and then the solar system over 500 K, and then the whole universe? Like, I just can't wrap my head around that. But for other people, it is just like, of course. I mean, David, like, this is, of course that's happening.
One of the things that I've picked up on is that by using those types of numbers and putting that many motions on people, like you said, you can't wrap your head around it. And what it's doing is short-circuiting your processor and frying you. And what people do is they give up, and then they just accept what they're being told by what they, are told are, these researchers that have, they're liars. They're making this stuff up. And it short circuits a person's brain. Now that I've been paying attention to it, when somebody presents an irrational argument, which is done many times in the popular flat earth community, they present the argument to fry people's brains, and then they slide something in, and it programs people. And it's just a fact that it works in this world. They use it all the time.
Well, that might make sense, because the feedback I get usually when people are going to offer an example of something like, I don't believe this, like, they'll point me towards that physics class, or they'll point towards something else, like just some obscure line about like the fisheye lens, like on my flight to Dubai, which was not a throwaway line, but it was more like, hey, they use these lenses, like it's not there. And maybe I didn't like synthesize the entire thought as well or connect it, but that person had honed in on that. Or like the clouds behind the sun, someone telling me that, like, the camera can play tricks on you. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I'm looking at it through the camera and my eye. Like, there'll be lens flares and there'll be like other lights, but I mean, I'm seeing this stuff. And like, they're telling me, like, the way that ships go and the Navy, and like a lot of people spent time in the Navy. Like, another close family member didn't really get the part about the stars and how like the stars are mapped across the earth. And I guess my point is, they're picking out these one little things, but then they're not going after like the core things that I was trying to make a point at. Like, the right. Clouds was like another just question, like thinking about it. It's one that you guys actually got me to think of. That's why it was in the video, because I thought it was a cool thing. I've been in a lot of planes. I did like 5 flights last week. I've been through a lot of clouds, and like someone was telling me, I looked into that, and the way ice crystals actually do form on planes, and like, you got to go a certain speed. And like, they had some scientific explanation. I'm like, okay, well, like I was in Nepal, and like we went to this really high mountain to drive, like the rockiest road you can imagine. We went all the way to the top of this mountain to get back to like Kathmandu from this out, like crazy in the middle of nowhere spot. And like we saw the clouds up there at the top of that mountain. Like we drove through, I was going like 15, 20 miles an hour. Like I wasn't getting wet. Like there's nothing going on. Like maybe some fog too. Like when you're on ground level, it might be a little moisture. But I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, where's the consistency? And I'm sure there's an explanation. I'm sure there is a scientific explanation for that too. It doesn't resonate with me, but for these other people, it does. So I guess my point with that thought is that's just another example of some of the feedback I got, but they point towards that stuff, but not the main stuff. And maybe that's just because that's easier to go after. I don't know. Like crepuscular rays, they're the coolest thing ever. And they're like, it's not my camera that's picking that up and creating that oddity, right? It's there. I see it with my eyes. And like when you got like rays going up and down, I don't get it. I don't know.
Well, we're all going to find what we're looking for, right? Cognitive dissonance, whatever is going to make it possible. I've gone through, I've learned my lessons. Like I've explained how, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, but then once I had the internet and started doing research on the Jehovah's Witnesses, I found what I was looking for. And of course there was truth and lies. and I got hooked into scientism and became an atheist. And I found what I was looking for. I was so it takes a internally honest person to, in an unbiased way, just analyze it based on what's fact, what's fiction, and just accept the consequences of each and every one of these discoveries, you know, searching for the truth, revelation. You make a decision, I believe this, and then you take that path and keep going. And the program runs. We're all just making choices with, there's like some sort of data stream that's flowing to us, you know, what we see in this world, the information that we're consuming. And we're making decisions, just bing, 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 and the program runs. That's the way I see it.
Well, you know, I wanted to add in too, that not only is it that sharing the truth vital, but the other side of it truly is the creator opening up their hearts and minds? Are they truthfully seeking out the truth themselves? Because we could tell everybody on the earth, they have to truly want to seek it back. And I think that's the key to sharing this truth. And like, I know, Dave, your mom wasn't quite receptive to it, but mine was. I was able to explain to her that, you know, if the earth was a ball, we know how water works, you know, it should be pooling off the bottom of the spinning ball. You know, she was able to grasp that right away. So I don't know exactly. And, you know, even the name Yahushai, have you yourself tried to share that knowledge with people outside of the video?
Yeah, I have. And I don't know, I did it early on. And it wasn't received the best way because I kind of attached it to some other stuff and how the like phonetically it could also have been twisted, which I don't know, it's not as important, right? I have. It's been fine. People don't, I mean, I don't know. Even close family members did not start using that name until the video, because I actually went through it, the whole thing, like, hey, this is where it's at. And thanks to you guys, like even you, Ronnie, like you guys have helped me look into a lot of things. And I'm like, wow, a lot of this like checks out. And like a lot of the things they use kind of are like some of the best sources that are out there. Like even the Canadian Cartographic Association, like that was like one of the best websites to even show any of this stuff. So a lot of things you've shared ended up just saying, okay, use what works. But when it comes to sharing that name, even if people do believe it, and like, okay, I get that, without doing the research, kind of open to that, they don't immediately start using the name because they're so used to using the other one. And maybe it's time, maybe it's just them thinking about it. Like, I prefer to be called by my true name if like somebody knew it, right? I mean, I know we kind of a no-brainer to me, but like just some people don't immediately think that, and it's hard to break out of that. But like immediately I'm like, I got to get comfortable with this word. Like, and it is pretty cool. Like it does flow. Like you guys even mentioned before. I think it does. It's easy to say. And it's way cooler than Jesus. So I love that.
Yeah, Yahushai, right? Jason was the one who showed me the Lion of Tribe of Judah Teaches video. And it took me, you know, a few days and a little bit of research to try and back check. You know, I don't always like taking things at face value because I'm really gullible. So like, but that's the thing about you and about our great friends. You know, I don't want to call them subscribers because we truly are creating a community of people like-minded that we're actually really loving each other in the true creator's way. It's been a battle the last year with all the fighting, and that's why moving forward, we are trying to have a new way and a new style of the way we share this truth. And, you know, you doing this documentary to me sealed off one of the craziest, most epic years of my life. 2017, it has like, okay, and I want to talk about your eclipse footage. I don't know if you just nailed that, brother. It was amazing.
That was all our Father, straight up, like our Father, because, and you know what? There was no filter. And I don't know if I ever thanked Mike at Flat Earth Photography, but it was in the comments actually at your guys's one of your guys' live deals. And because I'd been researching online, like there's not a lot of sources like, hey, how do you get great eclipse footage, like total solar eclipse footage? And I'd asked him, and he's like, hey, right before, like I recommend you take off the filter and then just record. And that's exactly what I did. But like, it was, I mean, just spot on, even though like, and sometimes I'll have issues with the tripod and like positioning, still a little jerky when I'm going around it. But I was praying that it was good footage. I came back that night, and that's where I saw this huge rainbow that I actually quickly put in the video, and I showed it to the family. They're like, whoa. And I actually put it on Facebook, but I cut it down to 2 minutes. I think it's the same video I had sent you, Jason. But the entire thing was just a complete trip. And I didn't even like, I don't know, I thought about going back and editing the video. But I mean, if there were chickens, like it was like, I think we've talked about, like, it was the program. Like they all thought it was nighttime. They just know when it starts looking like this outside, they just run the program. And then when it's morning, like after 2 minutes, the chickens were up. Everything's making their morning noises outside of after they're done with the nighttime business. Like that night was just 2 minutes long, apparently. So that was cool. It was really, and this, oh man, I wish I had gotten a better video. If I could even say it, video of the rainbow the night before around the sun. Cause like I've only seen it twice now in my life. And my wife saw it, but like this perfect rainbow encircling the sun.
It's actually, interrupt you just real quick. That's actually the tabernacle. That's actually scriptural, right? That it's been set around the sun.
I didn't know that. I'll have to go look that up. But yeah, I mean, I went solo. I just drove up, slept in a sleeping bag overnight. I'm like, I got to see this. Like I was looking into all this and I'm like, I got to figure out what this is. And that's the thing, like other people, I don't know how they explain that. Because like anywhere from 1.5 minutes to 6 to 7 minutes, depending on where it is on the earth.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to say like, because of the distance and how we're like rotating and like the distance, how we're spinning and then the distance between the sun. But I'm like, like I said, they got to stop or be in unison. Like, how does it go for 7 minutes? It just doesn't check out to me.
What it takes is for people to have filmed it, actually zoomed in and traced the path following the sun and moon with the camera to realize things like, you know, for one, the popular flat earth AE model, you're not just doing a panning shot from left to right. When you're filming it, you're watching it go up and it goes way over your head and comes back down at the horizon again. And by doing it, a person actually going out and doing it themselves, like it becomes obvious. You learn so many things in the act of doing it that, you know, we that try to share what we can't share everything. People have to go out and experience these things to learn them themselves. So
yeah, and to use, I guess, another cliche, like to like cremate the beaten dead horse. Like earlier you were saying, you know, you have to be open, you have to like be really searching for the truth and all these things. Yeah, I believe that. You believe that. Ronnie believes it. A lot of people on here believe that, but it's just so interesting that it's so obvious. I just keep coming back to this. I obviously can tell I am stuck in this mode because of all the feedback that I'm getting, that it's what's so obvious to me and seems so sane and logical. And I think I'm grounded evaluating all this. And the majority are just like, oh man, I hope Dave's wife's okay, because that might be hard hearing about that all the time. So I'm still processing that. It's pretty new.
But see, I'm sure
sorry,
there's something that I know you have to have, and that is with the conviction that you have, with the truths that you're sharing, you have overstanding. Because you've done the research and looked into it, you overstand on these issues. You're willing to debate because you've looked into it, and you're willing to take a stance that goes against what's the accepted, you know, version of it. And so you overstand on that topic, and so the highest truth is the highest overstanding. And you know, we're all at various levels on a path where we're, you know, continually picking up things along the way. And but what we're doing right now is with the internet, with this YouTube, with the technology that we're holding on to right now, we're sharing the things that we're learning in a way where a person doesn't have to live their entire lifetime to learn these certain things. We can clue people into it. They can do the research. They can catch up quick. But yeah, there is overstanding right now at a certain level where you're the sane one because you've looked into it, and the people, either refuse to look into the information and debunk what you're claiming, or they're going to, spout the common narrative and are just unwilling to look at the things that you're willing to show them as evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, so almost interrupted you there. Sorry about that. But is it that because how many people come to Christ without doing any recon or research, and they just believe it, and then they don't go check it out, like even the history or like what historians think, or reading more into it. They just feel it, and they just know. So like when I saw certain elements about the flat earth, I went to research it because I'm an over researcher. But I came to it so quickly because I just felt like it was right, like inside me. But other people have already come to Christ, because they just knew it was right. And they didn't even have to do the research, maybe. So I don't know. I just think about those two examples, and I think they didn't need an overstanding for that. So why do you need it for this?
It's not that you need it. It's just there. It's just there. And it doesn't mean anything, but the truth is the truth is the truth. And so one of the things that I ask of you is that the things that you think I'm out of line on and think that I need to be corrected on, I want to hear it from you, and I want to be refined. And I know Ronnie feels the same way, and we're looking to hopefully, when I read the scriptures, when it talks about the elect, when it talks about the righteous that are saved, I see a group of us that all have this common desire for the truth, working together and supporting each other in a way that benefits us all to the highest capacity that we can. So,
all right, so let's talk about, we can talk about some of that, right?
Yeah.
Some differences.
Yeah.
Because that was the right thing to do, right? And I said in the video, hey, don't agree with you guys all the way.
Right.
So I wrote a quick list here. So even one of the main ones would probably be, Mandela effect I'm not sure about. I will tell you, I got the Berenstain Bears example, even texting with my brother, and he's looked into that too. He's pretty open to stuff like that. But I'm just not sure about it.
Yeah.
Not completely sold, but I don't need to be.
The one thing I can say about that real quick is it is prophesied in the book of Revelations, I believe, that the beast is given technology to deceive and lying wonders, and that is what I generally go to with the Mandela effect. It is a type of prophecy that is being fulfilled.
And isn't that interesting that my processor has a challenge with that? But I have a very specific example that is there. But for some reason, I'm having, I don't know, just not an all in, but I'm there's a great example right there. I could see that. So,
and so I don't know if you caught
comment on that.
I was just going to say that, at the beginning of Beyond Flat Earth, Ronnie and I were creating a flow chart where we were putting numeric values to how far in we were on certain things. And, that's something that can change week by week, depending on how much research you're doing.
Yeah. So that's one.
You go on. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, I was going to move on. If you want to say something else about Mandela, then.
No, that's it. No, just keep going, please.
So also you guys have mentioned Steve Fletcher before. and I don't know where you're at with him now, but just some different stuff that I've seen him, like I checked him out on Facebook and stuff and saw some comments. He ended up deleting his channel, deleting his YouTube channels at times. And just being, I don't know, just him saying that he's being told, like he's called out the day numerous times saying that he was told specifically, like I remember one of the dates was August 9th and he said it on YouTube. I don't know if he ended up saying it in videos. So just when it comes to him, I'm not really dialed in or trusting with that cat.
Sure.
So
That's
just
what I have to say about Steve Fletcher is I enjoy his spirit, and it's very similar to mine, where on a day-to-day basis, I would love to hear hope that the end is finally here. So I'm happy to hear somebody that would be, blowing the trumpet too much in that regard, because I believe this is a simulation. I've speculated with the notion that you come to realize that you have your own rendering power as far as what you can manifest in your own physical life. And then you come to realize that if you team up with other like-minded individuals, what you're doing is super boosting your rendering power exponentially, not just a one-for-one factor. The second person makes a job incredibly faster than, that. So it exponentially grows. So I've tinkered with the notion that us in this world play a factor. And of course, the creator of this world knew everything from the beginning. So I think maybe the manifestation of us all working together to manifest the same thing, if we all are hoping and praying, like, setting a prayer day, maybe you've in your research have seen things like, a worldwide prayer for peace or something like that has been said to have certain powerful effects, where I don't know exactly how to express it, but if you think about your consciousness, your thought stream, the things that you're hearing all the time, that you're making choices left and right, you feel like you're manifesting those thoughts. But the people that become deep inner researchers realize that a lot of those thoughts are coming to you unasked for. They're just presenting themselves all the time, and you're like a sifter that's sorting out through all that and choosing paths, identifying it as being yourself in this body. But that in this world, our manifesting power can be super boosted. So I'm in favor of promoting mass prayer, mass meditation, mass conscious, going inside, thinking about what it is that you really, really, really want to see in this world, and trying to get as many people in the world that have the same vision to all try to manifest together. And I would like to see what we could do as a group doing that. So I've often looked at the different content creators, YouTube, movie makers, musicians, all this kind of stuff. When they've hit publish on it, and you understand what it's like to hit publish on something and have it, just a second, get spread out, that I don't know, I'm just trying to get the point across that, yeah, I know where I was going. The movies and stuff like that, using analogies. Yahushua used analogies in his teaching, and it was the most effective, because you can't, if the content hasn't been created already, the best thing you can do is draw to something else that people are familiar with and say, here, take a look at this. I would be in favor of course, the day and the hour is going to come at the creator's appointed time, hands down, period. And so I just think we should all be working towards manifesting it, because we do these things out of our love, not out of.
Yeah.
So I was following the Sabbath, not because I felt like I was required to under the law anymore, but because I wanted to. I loved the way the Creator created the week. You work 6 days, take the seventh one off. If I wasn't following the Sabbath, I would have been just working 8 days a week. So I was thanking the Creator for saying, hey, take that day off. And so,
yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, to identify with like a Steve Fletcher, something like that, I just want to get across that point that I can see how it's something that people would pick on as a failed date setter, that type of stuff. But he's very inspirational to me in his research. The things that I haven't found flaws in the things that he's been showing as far as
No, I
like
get
his
it.
message.
I get it. So I'd agree. Like, I mean, he definitely does bring up some unique angles that seem to check out. I mean, as far as trying to get that end date. So I would agree with that. And then a few people latch on to that and take it and share it too.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. So yeah, okay. So we don't agree. I mean, it's fine.
yeah.
I'm hoping too, though. Don't get me wrong. Like I said in the video, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. Like I've told you this a few times, and Ronnie earlier, like I feel like I've got a super blessed life. I feel so blessed. And I try to approach every day like it's a good day. I mean, we're gonna have challenges, but I think every day is a really good day.
Yeah.
It's been I've been experiencing a lot of new things and situations and reactions recently, which have made them more interesting. And yesterday was probably a harder day, but it was still a great day. I mean, today's a great day. It's great to talk to you guys now. So anyways, I'm ready to go is my point too.
I got it.
So moving on, I don't know. Yeah, my brain too on the planes is having a challenge, an issue there. I think I'm really close, but calling them demons, I don't know. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I've recorded some bizarre stuff and I watched them a lot. And I prayed for them to go away, and I've seen them leave at times. Other times, obviously not. I mean, some people say like they're bigger demons or they're this. No doubt there's something going on, and I just don't believe it's chemical engineering
Yeah.
or geoengineering, whatever you want to call it.
It's a sky feature, right?
Going through it all. Yeah.
It's a sky feature.
So
There doesn't have to be.
They've been around for 6,000 years, however long. Like, did they always look like planes, or is it because that's what people expect to see when they look up now? Right? I wondered about that kind of stuff. I don't know what you guys.
I see a sky feature. Just there doesn't have to be a plane. There can just be like these trails being sprayed without a plane, or parts of a plane, or planes with really bright blinking lights. And I've watched them go into like a banking turn, and I'm following it with a P900, and then in frames it morphs, bing bing bing, and it's then going a different direction. And I'm just like, wow. Whoa, just watching these things, I'm like, I guess I could be calling them demons across the board could be a stretch, but there's there's scriptures that support the notion,
You're breaking up. They are the principalities. Also, the Apocrypha, I believe it was Matthew. It was of Yahushai's birth, talking about the angels that are at the highest in the firmament area, and there's a war going on there all the time for those sections of reality. So I do concur with you there, Jay.
I don't know. We've speculated on areas that we don't know for sure, but
I think it's fun. I mean, it's not to talk about demons or like, I I find this stuff very intriguing because I know I look up, spent a lot of time looking up in the last year, and they aren't planes. And well, and this is the thing, like I want answers for kind of everything. Some people are very comfortable without those answers, or even asking the questions. And certain things, like even my wife, she's like, I don't even know the answer to that. And I get that. But like with me, I like talking it through. I really like working my brain and just trying to, I don't know, find answers. So I think we're all on the same page there. So who knows what they are? Maybe they're not demons, or not all of them, but there's something going on up there. And I'd like to know. But I do think about that. Like, did we help? Like, because we all, like kind of what you guys were talking about earlier, like everybody expects to see a plane up there. So like, do we now see those because that's what we expected to see?
We're manifesting them, yes.
Yeah.
I believe that's what the COINTEL channels that are constantly promoting, that they're making you sick, and that there's, they're somehow geoengineering the earth, when really what it's happening is they're just collectively getting the people to manifest them, and probably try to get people to get sick from it. So I'm with you there. It's still speculation on the chemicals, but
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it for a while, but it just sort of jogged a memory. I had wondered from a simulation standpoint, the manifestation issue, that if there's a group of Satanists in the area, which is sort of what I picked up from that chemtrails-are-demonic.org site, is that, if you have active Satanists in your area that are working to manifest something, is it possible that there's a spiritual battle going on in your own backyard? I've asked the question. It's just something I ponder.
They're kind of like everywhere. I've like watched, it's just so funny how I see them in commercials and like, even like cartoons. Like our family went to this YouTuber's thing, and anyways, nearby. And like he had a couple in them, like they're very much, and I was like, oh, why is this in a cartoon now? Or like different shows when I was watching them earlier in the year. So yeah, it's been interesting to watch. But that's funny when we were talking about like how we all manifest these things together. So like, I don't think I've ever asked you guys, like, what about CERN and all that? Like,
same thing.
I know. So like, is that really everyone working together to try and like crack that?
To break Satan out of hell, right?
Right. Oh man. That's
I even heard a Christian say, a supposed Christian the other day. So I don't want to bang horns or anything with you, but I was like, whoa, there's that. I got the Richie from Boston now. No name calling here. No, the CERN, all of that stuff, I strongly believe is being used to manifest these evil things into reality. But there are prophecies of the locust army. What is it? A third of the waters are gone. A third of the trees are burnt up. And we've got quite a bit of fire happening now. Anyone in the chat, there's been a few questions. Please, if you put at Beyond Flat Earth, I'll be able to see the question better. And we'll ask David. Did you still had some more points, Dave, that you wanted to go over?
Yeah, just a couple more. Yeah, people can just repost them.
Yeah, keep it going. Sorry.
Bring them to the top of the inbox. So, so this one I think I kind of believe. I don't think that like all women used to be men, but obviously a lot of public figures, a lot of transgender, a lot of that. So like it's pretty, you always have to do some research to see some of that. So I think I'm pretty much there on that. It's pretty sad and it's pretty disgusting. It's really heartbreaking. There's a lot of things that people are doing to their bodies right now, right? As far as changing stuff. So I had this here. This is kind of an older list. Also, this is going like probably in the Wayback Machine. I don't know if where you guys are at on this, but like all war is not, like all war is a hoax. Obviously some war, I'm guessing you guys would at least give that is legit. Cause like I have a really close family member who said that her father, her dad, was like in the war, and like he had seen stuff like it was World War II, and like I guess people got skinned or something, like just like some really trippy stuff, because one of his friends had challenged him about what was really happening out there. And so she saw her dad like go into a different mode and be like, no, I saw this. And that's where and she heard it firsthand. So I'm guessing you guys will give that, right? Like not all war is a hoax.
I've asked multiple times to try to get a sense of how much is real and how much is not. We were being a little exaggerative because obviously the scriptures have there's been a lot of war, a lot of killing, a lot of the huge amount, and then there's empires, the Romans, the Greeks, and they controlled the territory, so obviously they did something, but it seems like modern warfare, something's changed.
I agree with that.
My quick point on it is I'm sure that crazy things people probably do try to put pipe bombs, and if there were people invading California or Austin, Texas right now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to try to fight back. But I don't believe, like what Jason had said, the modern warfare, we don't know that there's like men on a line shooting at guns. And, I think they like target their own people. Even in the world wars, I believe they were like bombing medical units and like survival camps, not even the enemy. These types of things I do believe happened. So,
That I could see. Oh, yeah. I've looked in a lot of war. There's no doubt it's pretty twisted as far as the sides are the same sides or really.
But it's mostly theater, right? They call it theater, right? When was your theater campaign?
Well,
that was most. Oh, sorry. What were we going to say, Jason?
I was just going to say the big clue to me is taking a look at the things that they promote as their weaponry, like nuclear bombs. And I've really looked through as much footage as I could about missiles and stuff like that. I think their missiles are just, faked videos, CGI, stuff like that. So the Moab, I think they released Truth and Lies. And they said that the Moab was, like this 22,000
the second largest
bomb. And it had a blast radius
of was a 300-yard radius. Like it was not that big. Like what it did. I don't even. Like
yeah, the fireball blast radius was 32 feet, but
32 feet. No way. Is that legit?
that's their information. I don't know. That's.
So then, if that's the Moab, then that means the nuke is the FOAB. Is that what that is? Because it's the father of all bombs. I'm like, but it goes like miles.
Yeah, and then they have to use a huge aircraft, a big cargo lifting aircraft to carry the Moab because it weighs 22,000 pounds. And then they drop it off the back. It's got no guidance. It's got no propulsion system. So, I mean, it's my fear of World War with them using military weaponry to annihilate the population has been completely assuaged. Yep. And I feel like that is just fear porn.
Totally. I'm on the same page with you there. And it's almost ready to slow down or at least stop my thoughts, but I'm not, because like this is the first time I've really talked about this stuff publicly. But I don't have any fear about that. But like earlier in the year, like even March and April, when I was still discovering a lot of this or researching some stuff, I was still like, there's all the stuff about obviously North Korea and all this. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this like, oh, we could be tomorrow, it could be this. And like, it is like, I don't understand. I keep saying that. How people like, they don't have wings like these missiles. Like, I think you can shoot one up. You guys have probably even said that. Like, I've seen them go off. I've seen toy ones go off, like go up. But like, how do they go up and go through? Like,
something with
come back, and like they got these little like at the top near the nose. They like got like they're just spouting a little bit of air here and there. It's like they actually come in reverse. Like they are. It was just with one rock, like the Harrier that could actually. I think that was legit. Like it had like I think at least 2 or 4 burners.
Yeah,
to try and keep its level. Like, but this thing comes in one. Without flipping and turning, I don't know. And it's funny that I never looked at it like that. I'm like, but once you start looking at all this stuff, it's like, I don't know. I don't think so.
So we had a question from Damian Mandick. He asked, David, what was the strangest thing you ever saw in the sky?
I I don't know about strangest, but like coolest. The night before the eclipse, I was just out, had my tent, just looking up at the sky, and it was so big, and like the stars were perfect. You could see everything, and it was in Oregon, open land, so it was a huge sky. But I'd never seen, and this is one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about, just because I find it interesting. But what you call a meteor or whatever, a falling star, I saw like from right over me go all the way down, like to right before the horizon. And first of all, I was like, oh my goodness, how do I not have my camera or my tripod set up and this thing just like looking at the entire sky that I'm looking at? But like, I just never seen anything fly and just leave that trail for that long and that far and that big and that bright. So, I mean, that's the first thing I think of that was just so amazing and beautiful and strange, right? And then I think about meteors. Okay, so they say it's that. I don't think like anything's leaving, like nothing's coming into our atmosphere. It's not burning up. So I don't think that. So I don't know. What is that? Like, what do you guys think?
Sky feature.
What did Jaron say, Jason? There was chunks from the ice wall. Whatever.
Yeah, Jaron on the Circling AE map and model had like another pond on the outside, and he was saying that they were throwing ice balls from that side over and down. But I don't know, just a crazy sky feature, just like the lights we see for the stars, and like what we saw with the eclipse, with the sun and moon lining up with each other. And I keep on going to, like, if there's asteroids or meteorites or something, where there's a crater, shouldn't there be an asteroid or a meteorite there? Like,
for some reason
anything there, so
some sort of dust, right? Or
but I've never seen what you saw, and it sounds awesome.
I have.
Amazing.
I've seen it once where it came across the sky and it looked like I was with my dad. We were way up north in Canada, and I'm like, I wanted to go and see like where that hit the ground. I'm like, Dad, did you see that? It looked like it hit the ground somewhere. Is it the way that it went over? But another good way to look at it could be, I speculate if angels are flying around, whatever. Maybe when they go across one of the firmaments, it's like a skip.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
yeah, it could be.
Here's
one thing, because I go at this with confidence that we're in a simulation, and it's being rendered to you, is that it's a blessing. It's the scriptures do tell us that there's sky features that have been given for signs, for reasons, and that might have just been, a gift for you for something that, carries some significance to you, that could maybe with this confirmation somewhere in something that was going on in your life. And then you got this beautiful reward saying, all right, thank you from the creator,
Amazing to watch. I'm super thankful for it. And I've seen other ones, smaller versions going sideways. I don't ever see them going up though, right? From the horizon up.
Never.
Interesting.
Always down.
But that was a good question by, was it Damien? Because the other thing is just like, I've been in a lot of planes, so I've seen a lot of the other planes up there, like below, above.
That's scary. I've only been on a few plane rides. And when I came here to Austin, I was like, I don't want to see any planes anywhere near me.
I'm like, don't get near me. Like I keep up this protective wall thanks to our Father.
Yeah, I do that too. How about the poofy clouds? How about the poofy clouds that just float over the wing? They're just like how does that work?
I don't know how any of it works, because I'm thinking about it. Like, if you're a pilot, I mean, you see all these, they come really close to the plane. I'm like, are these pilots like not worried because they just know the trajectory is like all good? We're not going to, but I'm like, do they just look around at these planes? Like, why are all these planes up here? What are they doing? Like, why does it look so weird? Because I've seen so many weird lights with those planes. I barely got one in a video when I was looking down towards the end of that video that I put together. But like, that was not the wing like flaring out. Like it's got like it's way wider than what the plane is. Just seeing them do weird light stuff. So that's the other cool thing I've seen.
So here's an interesting question. If there's all these things that we're seeing in the sky that look like planes that can't really be planes based on, being invisible and other such phenomena. Does air traffic control, do they have to like pick these things up on radar systems and identify them as something, or does the pilot, and does he have an awareness that there's supposed to be a plane there? Or I don't know, question I ask.
I do too. And I used to believe in aliens until probably April. I mean, I was reading a book about aliens and it looked like it might've been a disinfo book, but if you're a pilot, well, right, it was, but like if you're a pilot, what I was reading is like, you don't like report, if you see stuff in the sky, you don't even report it to the FAA. Like there's a third party organization that you tell it all to and all that kind of good stuff. Like it's just a weird setup there too. If you're seeing something, like they very much filter that and keep it outside of their main agency. I just found that. So let me see. Are there any other questions? I got one more cool thing.
No,
or just something I was going to ask.
Keep going, please.
Okay. So, what about, so sentience, and I know, Jason, a long time ago, you and I had, or maybe our first conversation, like talking about how it only seems that humans are the only sentient beings as far as here, like right now. But like I was just recently, and I'm still kind of researching this, but looking up the Hebrew word nephesh, Nephesh, I think that's how you pronounce it. And like how when the first 4 like times it's mentioned in Genesis, it's talking about just life. I mean, just all animals having that, and like how it's not really a true translation. That it's not like in Hebrew, it's not soul, it's not like spirit. It's like it's all these things, and it's like life. And it talks about how all animals have it, but not the plants. I'm sure, Ronnie, you probably
the breath of life you're referring to.
So then I think like animals, like obviously it's definitely. I mean, I think it's a different form of consciousness because he talks about how humans are like his imagers, and like we are so special, but I don't know. And like, I don't need dogs. Like my dog's laying at my feet right now. I love this dog. He's a great dog, but like, I don't need animals to have sentience because I do think that it's all from him and it all goes back to him. But like, I just wonder. So I was looking into that recently. I didn't know what you guys thought about it or what research.
We talk about that. We talk about this daily, actually, me and Jason. Why don't you tell it, Jay?
Well, so we were mentioning before this whole analogy thing. And so what I'd like to do is use a couple of analogies. We know that people don't like the word simulation, but I just want people to envision a couple different things and understand that I'm not saying it's that, but just use this as an analogy. But from movies, the movie Avatar, where the guy could get into a pod and it could like take his mental thoughts or whatever. And then from Star Trek, the holodeck, having some sort of world that can, manifest a world, and that we're connected from that outside perspective into this world. Ronnie and I both speculate that, so if our consciousness exists in some sort of entity outside of here, but it's manifesting through this body, that through all the eyes, through all the ears, through the trees, through the rocks, through this entire world, that there's windows into this virtual world that maybe spectators, I would call them, from the outside, or angels from the scriptures, some sort of combination, mix that up, that they have a window, porthole into this world. Because if you think about what you would get information back from this world, we have the senses. So what we get from our eyes, our ears, our nose, our taste, our skin, those are the things that we perceive. And then through all the rest of the creation, that the information stream from a from a flower would, be much different. The information from the animals, now you have those active senses, and that it could be a portal into this world for the angels to be watching, and that might be the means by which the demons are or the wicked spirits are watching this world, and the it's just a big screen, a big huge. I know that saying simulation trips a lot of people up, but if we just go down to the core root of what we experience, so the animals, it seems like the dog and the cat, they've earned their way into the human household. And if you're a spirit outside of this world, what better way to have eyes, ears, and a nose on what's going on in this world than through the common household pets and things like that. So speculation completely, but seems plausible in my mind.
Mm-hmm. I'm not closed off to it. I'm open to it.
Yeah.
Open to a lot of things, right? So, were you going to say anything, Ronnie?
Well, just to end that, there are scriptures in Psalms that state that all of heaven rejoices when certain things happen here in the simulation. So it is an open recording rendering that's going on. I do believe that is going to change. But I definitely know that loved ones, and I've myself experienced before people pass away, animals begin to, like my grandmother, who's the one that kept me inspired, kind of like Timothy in the story with Saul, which was Paul. But the fact that the animal would come and sit on my grandmother's shoulder, a partridge. Many people have spoken that birds are gateways to the higher realms, and that's what I believe. Basically, tying all of this together with chem planes, how they could be demonic, they could be good angels, and basically everything having its own level of consciousness inside the simulation. It's kind of like hard baked. If you work with Blender, you have to bake to get an outline or a color. You have to bake it into your 3D modeling, and so it is what we are experiencing here is real, and what I believe, but it's definitely more of a dream where we are projecting. Totally. Like Jason said, our light, I believe, is captured in another place, and we're just basically going through this avatar-like world,
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is dreams. I don't know if you guys have talked about it much, but I'm really into dreams, and I totally think it's obviously a lot of adverbs there. Some type of level of consciousness or dream. I mean, and that's why I just named my channel Lucid Truth, because I'm really into trying to become lucid, what's up around me. And I remember at one point in my early 20s, I started to have some very unique experiences where I'd be dreaming stuff one night, and the next day I'd see certain events happening. And, a lot of people, intuition and you just instinct. And I kind of just say people know things sometimes. And so that got me into my dreams, and I started I wrote them down for years. And I really wanted to, I'm a control freak too. So I'm when I'm awake, I got better control. When I go to sleep, I want to have control too. So I figured out all these ways through research of once you're in a dream to realize you're in the dream. And then the challenge usually is staying in that dream, because most times you wake up. And I found out even different methods to stay in that dream and then do whatever you want. Cause I always love flying. And that's one of my favorite things, doing that in the dream. And I've had dreams like a Star Trek Next Generation episode,
wow.
Where, numerous levels of dreams, right? And I felt like I lived a life, and then you wake up and oh my goodness, I can't believe that was a dream. And then you wake up again, I can't, okay, this is legit, right? This is it. This is the reality. So I look at it it's really easy for me to think at some point we're going to wake up from this level of consciousness, that what we call right now when we go to sleep is a dream. So, why not call this one a dream? And I know that our Father's running all this, it's in his time, but I'm ready to wake up again.
Yeah.
So ready to wake up again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I want to, if it's spoken of that the next place is going to be perfect and better with a true king, and no hunger, no pain, no sickness. That's what I want. And it's hard because is it blasphemy to say I want to be raptured? Because I ponder this question with Jason all the time, and I speak of like, okay, well, if I have to make the deal that I'll stay here till every single person comes to you, Father, I will offer that up. And it's like, it's like you got what is the way? Right? I'll stay, but like, come on, I do not think any ruler, any government, any king will ever be able to lead us, because it was Yahushai. He is the only rightful leader, the creator, that he is the only one that I want to follow. And I follow him through the people that he basically indwells. So just like wicked thoughts, we allow them to become our reality. His loving thoughts are what make our community that we're working on. So I want it to be, that's why I love Steve Fletcher, but I do disagree with some of his stuff. I think a lot of the numbers that people put in with, you can manifest your own results by just simply thinking that you want to search for this symptom, this diagnosis. You're going to get that in this simulation. And that's why people popular YouTube channels will continue to repeat lies and deception, because they know that if they say it enough times, it's going to become real in the simulation. So I think we as a team need to continue to say, we want Yahushua to come now. Like, we know that if he saved what he can save, let's, I really hope that we can do that.
Yeah. So I've been looking at it strategically, as rationally as I can, with, the way I see the world. And I'm playing both ways, like any strategist has to. Each day, I continue to do the things I need to get by in this world. And each day, I hope that it ends. So I just wanted to share, what Ronnie and I plan on doing. We're pretty much done with Flat Earth. We still would like to do the world record water level test, because, we want to have the test, the documented proof that's, signed, sealed, delivered, that it's proven to be flat. Not because we want it to be one way or the other. It could be curved 2 inches or whatever, just whatever it is, but chances are it's flat. That's what the scriptures, tell us. Well, not okay. I'm going off on tangents, but
I'm ready to go off one too. But keep going.
The daily life of what we're presented with in this world, if we have to just keep waking up and making decisions within this world, what is it that we want? What kind of life do we individually want? And I'm presented with a unique opportunity coming up here because of the divorce that I went through. The house that I'm at right now, I'm going to have to put up for sale this spring. And I'm going to have money, and I'm going to have to go somewhere, and I'm going to have to make a choice. And so we are going forward with trying to build a community of people that's, the truth is important. It's the highest. And that we're going to try to live as separate from this world as we possibly can, to try to live the most sustainable, off the grid lifestyle that we can, that we're not like net negative, effectively like trying to be crazy about it. It's not to prove that we're 100% disconnected, but to be as separate from the world as we possibly can, because I don't know, if any of the news is to be trusted at all, it seems pretty safe to say that like digital currency is on its way for this world, and that we're going to move off of, the fiat paper money onto a digital currency, and we do know from the scriptures that there is some sort of mark of the beast that's going to be, without it, you won't be able to buy and sell. And so we can assume, since we know that the scriptures have been true all along, that that's coming. And so it just seems that we want to be prepared. We want to be the virgins with our lamps ready and start working towards that. And it doesn't happen overnight. It starts with the first footstep. The first, you got to have the goal in mind and back engineer it and figure out strategically what steps have to be achieved in order to get somewhere. And so our plan is, as long as we keep on waking up in this world, to work towards building that community and doing it the way we've been doing all along. And that is sharing it on YouTube, sharing it through the social media, documenting the entire process, and sharing the things that we learn as far as free or alternative energy techniques, practical homes that you can build on super low budgets, and how we can build micro hydro dams and all that kind of fun stuff. To me, it's going to be like a backyard engineering nonstop paradise. Yeah. So what I'm hoping to find is other people that are interested in doing something like that and actually building a real community, thinking about taking down enough acreage to be able to support X amount of people, and really doing it. So I know it's not going to work for everybody, and it's something that, it will take time for many people to work towards. And I'm not to say that everybody's got to come do it with me. I want to teach people how to do this, or not teach people, but share what it is that the process that we're going through, just to make it as easy for everybody else as possible. See if they can glean stuff, see our mistakes, see how they can improve on it. But to actually get the ball rolling and make something happen is where I want to take it. And that's working towards having the positive life that I would like to enjoy to the extent possible in this satanic world until Yahushua returns and we get the fulfillment of the promises.
Well, I could add in there.
Hopefully, as long as I'm accepted and approved, of course.
Of course, we're all with you there. And we're not just talking about free energy. We're talking about creating little pieces of heaven that is unique to each person that gets involved, that wants what we want. We want to create a paradise. We want to have free energy. We want to have sustainable. Listen to this. The most free, recycling, renewable thing we have is vegetables and animals. And this stuff is all renewable. It is all the most high tech we need. We have plans for, growing the right foods. People that smoke marijuana. I know many Christians. I was going to ask you, Dave, I don't know if you're dead set against it. It might not even be a topic that you want to breach, but I believe that having medical marijuana for purposes of renewing your soul. I know Paul preached in the gospel to drink wine. Well, wine upsets my stomach, so I prefer a little bit of marijuana. Want to teach people how to grow their own vegetables. We're going to have to learn from, hopefully people like Enslaved by Media, who was a butcher. We're going to have to learn how to respect animals, how to respect everything about this simulation. We want to try and turn it into what we're going to call it. Can I reveal the name? Why don't you tell us, Jason? What's the name of the community?
Of what?
The new community name. Do you remember what we decided?
Yeah, but Garden of Eden Restorations, right?
Restored.
The
Garden of Eden Restored. So that's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, and to have everything, be based on scripture, handling things through scripture. One of the things that I think we're all going to have to learn that want to be a part of this is how to be accepting and accommodating of our brothers and sisters, to allow them to have what they want to have, as well, because we don't all have the exact same desire for the exact same life. And so out of love and compassion for each other, to figure out how we can help our brothers and sisters have the type of life that they would like to have within the scriptures.
Yeah, that all makes sense to me. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. I'm working to try and create something different and more aligned with the way I think this place is supposed to be, as far as for my family, as far as the next step. I think getting out to that type of community, it does sound extremely unique and amazing. Yeah, Garden of Eden 2.0, that's what I thought what Dave put in there.
Yeah, we had
it's just a hard next step for a lot of people, especially obviously if I was single. But I just feel so blessed. And that's, life. By the way, you're going to need some women. Better recruit those women.
Yeah, we talked about that. You know, what I was going to say was what I had originally thought was women that have single mothers, just the way that life's got them down, would probably be the best, because we really want to have a strong strength in sharing scriptures, but not sitting in a church, but studying them on our own time and out in like wall-less homes. Like, I have beyond ideas, but the truth research itself and learning and having an education system that teaches and empowers people to actually have a good community that puts the creator first. But, you know, we understand that, let's say someone with a full-on family that has their life working for them, this isn't for them necessarily. Like, we don't discredit anybody. This is going to be for the people that want that type of change. And we're
I get it. Like, I was just, I think it's the way it should work. I mean, my wife and I have talked about it, like friends and family. Obviously, she doesn't know you guys, right? Might have seen you in a video, but it's got to be with people that we trust. But I mean, if people are committed to the scriptures and you believe they are, then it kind of makes sense. You get that trust pretty quickly. And that's something I've realized through sharing this video is, I mean, there's so many more scriptures, verses I could have shared in the video, but how many people, I don't know if they discount it immediately, or they just, I don't know if it didn't process for them or resonate, but I haven't heard anybody say anything about those. Like, that was something I had mentioned to my buddy who was talking about the physics class. I'm like, well, what about the scriptures? You know, either way, supporting that. Let's talk that through. Because I'm like, I'm not reading it out of context. So, like, it's pretty straightforward. Like, it's immovable. So am I learning that not everyone, like, they don't believe it all the way? And I've talked to this with my wife a lot. Like, it's kind of like, I look at that as an all or none deal. Like, do you believe? And now when you start getting into extra canonical apocrypha, like, I do think you need to discern some of that, right? And do the right research.
Yeah.
But like, I just don't get it. Like, he says how it is here and what it is. So you just don't want to believe it, or you just look past it.
It's picking and choosing in order to support a position that person wants to support. They go through a confirmation bias, and they selectively choose what, you know, I've said before, you know, we're the narrator. We've got this information stream coming in, and we're sorting the information out, and we're using our perspective, the things that we've learned, filtering it all through, and we're coming to conclusions, and we're the narrator. So it takes a real pure, honest, pure intention heart to be able to sift through objectively in an unbiased way.
And, you know, the community as well. I know, I don't know why I keep going back to it, but I just wanted to say, you know, I know there's people out there that struggle from week to week, that have a hard time with, you know, taking care of property. I know that this place doesn't educate the youth anymore, and there's so many things missing. And like people like ROTR and younger people in their 20s, like, this would be the ultimate opportunity, because I've had some good experience with construction, and Jason is a wealth, a deep pool of knowledge when it comes to building. And just showing up and I'm hoping, I would like Jason to hit the home run and to have this in Belize or but Texas is a really nice place. I know the final step is going to be somewhere in the tropics probably, because that's when Yahushua created this place. In between those two bands there on the map, it seems to be paradise already. It's all year round, all the time. It's like 85 degrees, food everywhere, green life. But I really think that if we had people that we could rely on, where we all build each other's dwellings, and it could be as luxurious and as extravagant as you want. But the thing is, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to build it. We're going to have a community do it together. Jason, your idea when you were saying, because with the Jehovah's Witnesses, you guys would construct complete churches in 2 days. It's one of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen. So you actually already have experience with like a great amount of experience doing this, Jason. And we're blessed to be even sharing this with people. And sorry if I don't sound the best. I haven't been perfectly healthy, but I'm just so excited, guys. I miss talking about this and everybody all together. It's so nice to see everyone here in the chat.
Have you ever seen Jehovah's Witnesses build one of their churches in 2 days before, David?
No. Negative.
I grew up, being a Jehovah's Witness, and like the first one I went to, 2,500 people volunteered.
Oh wow!
And from a concrete slab on a Friday at first it was 3 days, then they went to 2 days. Now I think they take longer. But on the Friday it was a slab, and on Sunday the service was in there with full, like carpet, chairs, painted, the tile, everything 100% done. So I've seen the power of what a collective can do if it's organized and everybody's all harmonized and have the same goal in mind. I've seen what it can do, and it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. So I've done a smaller version of that, just going down to Mexico and helping. Obviously very simple homes, just square boxes basically. Mm-hmm. But and just seeing the blessing that it's done for people and how people can come together and help each other. And that's the way it should be, right?
Mine's going to be
their gifts.
Yes, and we put all of our skill sets and gifts to work. And if you want to learn, you can learn. But my place is going to be like retractable, so I can be like with the sky above. Like, could you imagine?
Right? Oh my goodness! If you could just have like retractable, just like look up all the
just for certain times, But with still partitions, and like Jason and I are really incredible thinkers when it comes to construction. Jason is the one who taught me we can basically build anything. If you have a little bit of experience with tools and then you know how to use a 3D program, you can actually build anything. And it's so easy, right, Jay?
You got to have the vision, the goal in mind. And then you need to model it up. Now with the 3D modeling programs that are out there now, it's really quite easy. Model it up, and once you're happy with it, just build it.
Right. I mean, we are like his imagers. Like, that's why, I love to create. I can't wait to find out what we can create in the next place. Right. We all we're supposed to create, like whether it's a form of building or
or even a video is super creating, like what you did with your video, man. It was just beautiful. You created in my opinion, it was so well done. When I saw your documentary, The Strange Truth Project, I was like, I instantly knew, David, that so many people were going to get this. And I was like, thank you so much, because Jason and I have our styles, and yours, it just super boosts everything. Like, it was so well done. Are you planning on making a number 2? Because I have already seen demands when number 2 is coming out.
That's funny. That's all I have to say now. I've got a lot more research to do and living to do. One of the things is, in order to obviously create the life I want for myself and my family, I've got to allocate some time to some of that. So not that I'm still all about the truth, and trying to figure out what it is and sharing it. So yeah, obviously if there's something to say, I want to say it. After this one, I don't think I'm not going to say anything in topic because I'm not trying to give credit to it. What I'm trying to say is like, I mean, really, what does it matter if I go make something else? Because like I've already told all my friends and family that I'm kind of out there. Like what else? I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of, right? Like I don't really have a lot of fear of criticism at this point. So if there's something to say, I'll say it. Yeah.
Well, you stamped your name. You stamped your name in the book of life on a pretty high page of truth seeking and mental seeking, right? If the creator wants us to seek him, you're way up there, brother. I commend you.
Let me just say, it was not something I wanted to do. The only reason this thing exists is because of him. Like, I'm glad I did it, but this, I gotta tell you, like, again, I feel so blessed. It's not really fun, right, to have your friends and family be like, oh man, do we gotta all chip in to like
it's awful.
A crowdfunding thing for David's psychiatry classes. Not that fun to be in that situation, but I'm like, he told me, like, I listened. And so I did it. And that's the funny thing. Like, some people are going to hear that, even like, I don't know if any friends or family are watching this right now. If they subscribe to my channel and they came through, but like, even now they could be thinking like, what is going on with this cat? But I'm like really confident about this. Like I go back to all these things, even my fellow Christians, like the scriptures say these things. And there's going to be answers, like they'll have answers for it. They're just not answers I can understand, just like they can't understand why I'm here right now. But anyways, I just am so glad that it's over. And I'm kind of looking at like, not over, but like the project itself, that video is out there. Again, I could have kept it editing it. I could have made it perfect, whatever. It is what it is. And that's a hard thing for me to kind of live with, but I'm really in a good spot. And it's interesting to kind of see what's next.
Yeah. Life's an adventure now. You see what the data stream gives to you. Like, one day you wake up and your refrigerator is leaking all over the floor and the tires are all flat and you can't find your car keys and stuff like that. And then next somebody says, here's a property that you can afford and it's wonderful and you move there. Like, it's just, you see what's coming at you and you make choices based on it, is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes you're dealing with things that you don't want, and sometimes you get super blessed, and it's just staying the course is when those blessings just, they do come. You've got them already. You said you're super blessed.
I'm so blessed. I should not like disrupt any of this. So there's got to be a reason. Obviously, my essence, everything inside me thinks it's true. And so I did want to, like I said, I wanted to get my record on file. I'm going to share it with people. Like I'm doing dinner with a buddy I haven't seen for a while. It's easily been 6 months, and I burned it to a Blu-ray, and I'm going to hand it to him.
I love that.
And yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much everybody. I think he's like the last guy. So I haven't heard from some people. I've heard from a lot. I'm sure there'll be some conversations, more conversations, but I think some of the hardest ones I've kind of faced, but getting together for what we're calling Christmas is going to be a unique family affair, I think. So
Christmas.
It should be fun. It should be fun.
No, it just, so I say interesting, like, believe me, I went to this party last night and I'm going out. It's not like I'm going
to, say happy Saturnalia.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's that. You don't want to bang horns, right? See, that's the thing. Once you overstand people and you understand, if you do time researching, it's really tough to be around, because then the other people instantly think you're trying to overstand them, but you're like, dude, this is the truth. That's all I want to share it with you. And because for me, that's what I think is so great about the Strange Truth Project videos, because it is something that I look forward to, saying, okay, guys, we got to sit down. I know you think I'm crazy, but you got to watch this video. You've put it from the beginning to the end brilliantly. I don't know whether it's some sort of mental construct that I've created in myself, but to make a documentary like you did It's great. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying it. I like to say Happy Hanukkah. I was born 8/8/80, and so the eighth feast of the dedication, which is the eighth day. So I just instantly love to hear the word eight. So I say Happy Hanukkah because and just a quick Watchers update for Rapture watchers. Even though I don't completely, I'm willing to stay for eternity if I have to.
Yeah, what is it? I haven't been looking. I want to know.
So, the update is that it said in the scriptures, pray that your rapture come not during the wintertime. And so it's looking like on the 21st, 22nd, a bunch of other prophetic scriptures are lining up. Jupiter is entering into the scales of justice in the sky. It's all culminating too at the same time. The dragon's coming on scene, and it has 7 stars, which matches the 7 horns in Revelation 12. And it's all culminating with the 8th day of rededication. It was the day that Yahushua proclaimed that he was the Father, that he was God, and that he was a creator, right? So it's a pretty special time we're coming up to. 2017 has been just incredible amount of prophecy. And I don't know did you notice the September 23rd sign? Do you have any comments to make on that, David?
Oh, I was watching a lot of that. I was praying.
Yeah.
Like I said, I always am. But after a few of the dates and then they're pushing it back, could be that. That's why it's exciting to hear what you said. Like, I didn't even know any of that because I haven't made as much time to research that stuff. But I was praying. I was hoping. Like, I was big hopes. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I love it because like my whole family's on the same page. Like, we know we're super blessed, but like, we're ready to go. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just such a relief to know that my closest loved ones are all in and believe. But like at the same time, I feel like you said earlier, Ronnie, like I'm ready to go, but like if I got to stay here and do this and help him, let's do that too. Like I would not ever shy away from that. And I think that's what we're hopefully doing now, or even every video we do, every conversation we have. I pray we're working towards that to make sure everybody's dialed in, because I got really close friends and family that got this video that don't know our Savior. And that's a tough one, right? And I know not everyone's going to be there. But
well, there's a good chance that they could be non-players. There's multiple things, because my family, I constantly want them to follow after the Creator and seek the truth in the scriptures. But it's super nice to hear that you have a large family. I know Jason, the Jehovah's Witness, are some of the most religious, like people that honor the Creator so well. Even though I do believe that what Jason does on YouTube, what is it, like 10 times the amount of people you can reach on YouTube. So unfortunately, Jason's taken the Jehovah's Witness to the next level. And so knowing that your family is all with the Creator, that must be a great feeling. I wish, how did that happen? Like you just were raised that way, or?
So when I'm talking about my wife and my kids primarily, but actually a lot of immediate family as well. So I was raised Catholic. I did not really have a relationship with our father. I went to church every Sunday, and I remember asking every week if it's almost over, multiple times. It was hard to sit in that pew growing up. There's no like child program or anything like that until a little bit later in life. And my mother actually helped start it at that church, but it wasn't until so it definitely gave me some kind of foundation as far as getting to know our Creator, but it was not something that I was a good fit for, right? And then it wasn't until I left Northern California, went down to Southern California, just because I felt like I got to leave this place or else I'm not going to reach my true potential. And I moved down south. A buddy convinced me to go to church. And I just remember being there, and the pastor really spoke to me through our father spoke really through him to me. And I remember running around afterward, like looking for someone. And a lady that worked at the church came up to me. It was a pretty big church. You could call it a mega church. She's like, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need some help?" I'm like, "I need to talk to someone." Because I felt like I had to confess my sins, because that's the only way I knew how to talk to our Father, through someone else.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh no, we can do it like this." Like, "Yeah, I'll hear you out, but you can have this personal relationship and all." And that set me on a whole new path. But I also realized at that point, even like when I was 21 at that age, I'm like, okay, if I'm coming back to my faith, like it's my faith, there's this core, and church is a system, is a business. There are good churches out there. I do believe that, but I still don't learn the best in church. It's really doing my own research and studying and talking to other people, and like a Bible study or something like that. And then I just got dialed into our Father, and that's shortly after that I met my wife at that church, teaching Sunday school to 4 and 5 year old kids. And there were some ups and downs early on, but then we just connected. And now it's just been, I kind of wasn't as close to him for several years. I ended up drinking a good amount of alcohol in my life. Like, wouldn't call myself an alcoholic, but like there was definitely a dependency there. Just fell into some really bad habits. And I kept on hearing him telling me to stop. And then that's where I stopped right at the end of last year. So it's been a good year for me. Like 2017, I thought it's been a great year. Like as far as things that I think I've learned and ways I've treated my body better. And really, I don't know, I guess that's the short of it as far as my faith and kind of how I got here. But once I like saw, I'll say this, going back to the flat earth, like once I kind of saw that, like, I don't know why, but like he became even bigger. Like, even though everything got smaller, I guess physically, if you want to look at it that way, but like he got so much bigger. It was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is anything else that you would like to talk about? Any other? I'm not trying to wrap this up, but
yeah, no, I'm about there too. I mean, it's been a little bit of time, but like what I'd say, I don't know if you're gonna like put this on the channels or whatever. I just pray that like I'm not gonna say I lurked in the shadows, but like I just listened a lot to you guys, some other stuff before, and I did my own research. I just think that I wonder if there's a lot of people out there like me that are just not telling friends and family, or they believe these things but don't want to put their name on it. I would tell them like it's not as bad as you think it is. It's definitely going to be a challenge. I still don't. I've learned that the best approach is not like, hey, like flat smacking. I think can work in certain situations, but most of the time you don't want to go around the Christmas dinner just flat smacking. So I would say share the video or like do a quick version of your own. I just say, I'm hoping some people that aren't talking to friends and family might pray and just gain enough courage to start sharing more and challenging other people's viewpoints. Because I think, like I said earlier, I think some people are like, they're kind of in silent mode and like almost ready to be activated, and just start trying to help wake more people up. Because I just think this can help bring more people to the truth. So I guess my point is start being a little more bold and speaking up. And I know you guys have challenged people to do that too. It does have to be the right situation, but there'll never, ever be a perfect situation, right? That's another cliche, but it's true. They exist for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do the scriptures admonish us to have no fear? How many times did Yahushua say that? Have no fear. So I take it back to the simulation thing, that if we're operating from a state of fear, that we're going to be inhibiting ourselves and holding ourselves back because of this fear. And that's what Satan's system is just bent on doing, is promoting fear over and over and over and over. This have no fear opens up your potential and leaves you limitless.
Truly.
If you don't have fear. So I understand that losing fear, getting rid of fear, is it's a hard process that requires people breaking through things in their personality that could be based off of personal experience, that could be their environment, all these types of things, that to break through those things, you have to conquer fears. And if the truth just keeps taking you step by step to the acknowledgement that we're in some sort of simulation type world, and you get the confidence that what you've thought was a physical material body isn't the real you, and that you're what's deciding, making decisions on a conscious stream. That if we can realize that there's that of us outside of here, and realize that this body is immaterial, we can start making better choices for ourselves. And but always, I mean, you want to take care of this body. It's like you sort of look at it from a third person's perspective. You're like, that body is sort of important to me. I want to make sure that it's, fed well and, paying the bill so it doesn't get evicted from wherever it's living. But to make the better decisions, knowing that it's not that body, the overall body, that you should be concerned with. That's the message I get from the scriptures over and over and over.
And it's never as bad as we think. Like,
yeah,
yesterday was probably the hardest one I had to do. I don't know, maybe it'll be a harder situation for me. But someone you love, like, you came out of this person, right? And in this physical place. And they were concerned, genuinely concerned. And it's okay. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I slept. It did kind of set me back a little bit for a minute mentally, just like, okay, let me process this. I say that a lot, and just need a little bit of time, and I'm good. Cause like in my head, I'm like, it's okay, because I feel like I've got the legit truth on my side. Like, and maybe it'll just be some time, cause anyways.
Yeah. My personal life, I've got zero from it. No relatives, no spouses. I've got Ronnie though. And, but somebody's going to contrive that in some sort of sexual way.
I know.
It's so ridiculous. These people, like, it is so crazy. I mean, like, before you and I got on, like, I was like, I love you guys. Like, I love you, brothers. So
yeah, we got nothing but love for you too. Your video, man, it's so good. And just there was another question from the chat. Where was it here? They were asking you about electronic atmospheric masts. I believe that's what it is off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know what that means exactly, but I do know when I look at the sky and the clouds, what Dave sometimes calls a resonance. Is that what he's talking about? Like, just like, it looks like there is a vibration or some type of frequency through the clouds that they like appear. Is that what he kind of means? I don't know anything about it. I just know that I've seen some unique stuff.
I'll see if he responds to that. But yeah, there was a video just put out by, was it Dyslexic or Nawi Jah? I think it might have been Dyslexic. And he had a filter on where it was showing the sun radiating. Like,
oh yeah. I think that was Liz Dexic. Yeah.
Liz Dexic. And you can also see that with the naked eye observation at Jason, 20 minutes before sundown?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say? You can actually, like, I've seen it myself many times, but interesting.
Yeah, early morning or close to sunset, sun gazing. You can sometimes when I stare, it's like, I don't know how to put it exactly, other than like, it seems like some sort of a filter or a disc sort of jumps into the center area of the sun, and then I see this energy around that disc, and it doesn't hurt for me to look at, but you can see this dancing, and then around that. It often changes colors, and it's mesmerizing.
That's interesting. That makes me think really quickly how I've gotten better at looking at the sun. And like, it seems to be easier for me, at least, looking at it from the East Coast. I don't know why. Like, I can look at it way longer. I don't know if that's something in my head, but like, I don't know. I've been able to look at it for a long time. The last 2 times I've been back. One time, well, actually, I guess it was more, not the East as much. It was Arkansas, and then Philadelphia and Massachusetts. So just an interesting observation noticed in the last month or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's people also asking about free energy, and I'm also looking into water as fuel. I believe that we have enough water. So if we could learn how to make the water what we need. Through Steam as well. I love the Steam idea that Jason was working on hard before. But it's like, if you know that this is a simulation and you're in the creator's will, he'll allow us to just like manifest it. So we should have some interesting things coming up with that. I didn't see too many more questions coming in. I had a video to play out, but I wanted David just to stick around for 5 minutes after if he could. Thank you guys. I'll turn it over to you, Jason. But I've been blessed to be here with everybody. Love everybody in the chat. Love you, David. Love you, Jay. Love everybody that took the time. I hope my mom enjoyed this. She listens. We've got to get her in the chat so she can ask questions and tune in. And anyone else, this is a place for everybody, all ages, all good spirits, no shills and no lies. But thank you. We hope to be back again soon, maybe New Year's or Christmas Day, with our new channels and stuff. So that's all I had to say. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we ask everybody to share this. Share David's video. It's a big one. I'm going to be reposting it real soon. I hope to add some of these clips in it. And like Ronnie said, our plan is to begin with our new channels in 18. And we keep hoping and praying that we don't have to do that. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, David. You have any last things you want people to check you out at your YouTube site, or anything you want to let us?
No, it's funny. I mean, no, nothing really. I mean, I'm not even in this to try and grow an audience. I just watch it and they're open to a different point of view. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for being here and doing what you did.
That's an amen.
There aren't many things in this world that make me mad, but lies and deception do.
Are you awake? Are you just sleepwalking?
My passion is driven by a desire and a yearning for finding the truth. And the truth destroys lies and deception.
Are you awake? Are you just sleepwalking? Have you ever been stuck in a dream that felt so real that until you woke up, grasping the side of your pillow, you realized it was all just an illusion?
What we really want to get through to people is the fact that we're not on a spinning ball, that the popular flat earth model with the sun and moon doing circles is impossible, and so we have to keep looking for another model.
What if your thoughts truly did create your reality? What if everything we were told was nothing but lies? How could we figure this out? What could we do? Join us live as we broadcast worldwide, Wednesday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on Beyond the Flat Earth.
We actually have physical, observable things that we can go to that clue us into the fact that this is a simulation. It breaks down at the pixel size.
Are you awake? Are you just sleepwalking? Well, my friends, I have a message for you today. You are dreaming. What if your thoughts truly did create your reality? What if everything we were told was nothing but lies?
What are we? We're the context of all it is, not the content. We're the decision maker as to what reality is. Because we take all the bits and pieces of information and we put the story together in our heads. So, can we use this to discern truth from lies? Can we look at COINTEL information and figure out what is the truth that they're saying?
Join us live as we broadcast worldwide, Wednesday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on Beyond the Flat Earth.